The full-time show. Thank you to everyone that sent your match reactions in. We're going to go through as many of them as possible within the next hour. We're going to rotate guests as usual, and we're going to talk about the game. I hope everyone's still awake. That's what my take from the game. Helen?
Yeah. Boring. Poor performance.
Thoughts?
Not good. Yeah. Terrible. I think we're very lucky to get a point. Yeah, don't you?
I think the draw was a fair result. I think Brighton didn't have much on their end either.
I think they had
in terms
a lot.
of
we're lucky they couldn't score.
Fair. The midfield battle they won convincingly, but I think our defence coped well enough with what they had. Ramsdale had a couple moments in the last 15-20 minutes where he had to do a couple of things.
I think a better side would have punished us
100%,
heavily.
100%.
Heavily.
100%. We've seen it before with the Man City game, and we've got Liverpool shortly after the international break. So that'll be another game. But it was more Burnley and Norwich than it was Tottenham in terms of performance, in terms of aura. And
that's
it makes
why
me
I feel deflated. Because I was expecting more Turkish.
But well, the question always was, do you think that performance was down to Arsenal and Arteta, or was it down to Tottenham and Nuno not showing up and not getting it right? And today kind of leans more into that side. That performance was more down to Tottenham essentially not showing up than Arsenal and Arteta going bang. I remember he said at one point, Arteta, this project's going to go bang and then it's going to all make sense. And that Tottenham result in isolation, it could have been looked at as a bang in hindsight in a few years. But essentially, after following up with Brighton here, and
this was more of a test, Brighton, because they're a lot better than Tottenham. And that's why I feel gutted, really, because I wanted to believe in Arteta. I wanted that bang. I wanted to believe we're better. But I said, this will be a true measure of where we really are. We haven't really... Obviously, I don't want to overreact because the conditions were poor, blah, blah, blah. I want to, be a bit more fair, but I don't think we did enough.
I don't think none of us are angry.
Yeah.
So I don't think none of us are being unfair. I think we're just disappointed.
Yeah.
Because to follow up Tottenham 3-1, and a performance like that in general with a 0-0 Brighton, where in reality, what did we have in the end? 8 shots?
Yeah.
And you look at Brighton, they had 20 plus shots.
Yeah. But I don't think any of theirs were on target, were they? Did any end up being on target at the end?
A couple, but it was nothing for Ramsdale to worry about. Apart from that header back, it was more a header back cutback than it was.
So in that sense, it's a fair reflection, but I just feel a little bit deflated because I wanted more from the team.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of that what we showed against Tottenham going into this game. I wanted a more convincing performance, a better performance to kind of say, look, the team's clicking. Now we're starting to see. So that's why it feels,
and let me see what the chat is saying, because we've got one comment saying it was just a poor game. Let's not blow this out of proportion, fam. We've got one saying keeping a clean sheet away and 1 point should keep us all happy. And we've got another saying, come 10 points from 4 games, 1 draw, and here we go. Most of AFTV fans want Arteta out. I don't know, where that's come from.
No, we're not saying that.
I haven't changed my stance before this game or after the Tottenham game. I mean, in all honesty, we should be demanding more than to make, silly comments like that off the back of 1-2 results. We should have seen enough in the past 18 months to know why we are hesitant to be optimistic.
Exactly.
It's hard to be optimistic when we've seen in the last 4 games, 10 points, yes, but 3 performances where...
It's about the performances for me.
I look at the 3 performances, Burnley, Norwich and now Brighton, and we scored 1 goal in open play. One was an Odegaard free kick, and the goal in open play was Oba, when he fell over the line and got it in. And the defence gets most of the credit from those 3 games. And being clinical in our attack was a big problem last season.
Yeah, and I feel that's what I saw today. There wasn't enough in any attack.
Yeah.
And that's the concern, because where we got a little bit kind of excited because we played Spurs off the park, and there was that, that excitement as a fan watching us start playing good football again.
Yeah.
Didn't see any of that today. That's why I feel a bit deflated. It's not really... Obviously, I wanted 3 points. Of course, we all wanted to win. I wanted a win for all our fans that went in this horrible weather to the game.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. A point's a good point, given
Don't get me wrong. Listen, I'll take the point.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a point's better than a loss, especially
right now.
To end off a little run we've had between international breaks. And listen, if you couple this up with, wins against Palace and then Villa on the other side of international break, It's 5 wins out of 6, 1 draw. It looks a bit better. So it's all about continuing to build. But again, on Arteta, like you said, Helen, we haven't seen enough. But we have got some clips ready, people. Obviously, you guys have sent some in, so we're going to go through a few of them now and give our thoughts and reactions to those.
I will tell you something. I am very angry with the performance of Arsenal today because for once, we have not played the same as how we played with Tottenham Hotspur, the deadest team in the world, in my opinion, if you know what I mean, mate. But, like, it's not really good, like, it's like the fact that we're losing. We're not losing, but we ain't scored yet. It's, like, making me angry. Do we want to lose? Do we want to win the league? Yes, we do, mate.
Hey guys, Ebe here again with a positive and negative. I don't really have a positive besides we kept a clean sheet, which is great. But my negative, I actually have two. One is we see how important Xhaka is. It's not just his skill, but when he's on the pitch, he's pointing and yelling and communicating with his midfielders. Where when he's not there, Lokonga, he's good, he has potential, but he's not communicating, and we see how they get overrun because nobody knows where they're supposed to be, I think, because there's no leader in the midfield. But I think the biggest negative is Arteta needs to... We saw how we did a little bit better once the substitutions came on, and if he made them earlier, 10 minutes earlier, I think we would have had a better chance. He needs to make his substitutions earlier in the future.
I'm Opinto Malu, coming live from Canada. My view about this game, we need to be consistent, and our midfielders were not up to the task today, more especially Odegaard, that I expected him to be out of the game since today, but the coach kept him on. But what most important is at least we kept a clean sheet and we took the 1 point. So it is better to get 1 point than losing, everything. But I can say we need to keep being consistent, and that's the only way we can make it top 4. Thank you. Bye.
I don't know what that first guy was on, but look, big up everyone that sent their reactions in. The last guy just mentioned top 4. I think we'll skip past the initial guy mentioning winning the league, and we'll talk about top 4, Helen. And there was talk about top 4 again this week after the Tottenham result, and also looking at other results across the league and other teams dropping points above us, and maybe more hope coming from that. I haven't got your view on it. What do you think the ceiling is for this Arsenal team this season?
It has to be top 4 for me.
As in,
he needs to make top 4 or miss out very closely.
Challenge.
It needs to be challenging. I mean, we've got no Europe, so there's absolutely no excuse this season. There's no distractions. We've cleared out more deadwood. There's more to go, hopefully, in January. And we've made some key signings that we're all quite happy with right now. If we can bring in another 1 or 2 maybe in January that could help, we definitely need to be challenging. We're not as good as Liverpool, I know that. We're not as good as Man City, we're not as good as Chelsea. They've got Champions League. They're not going to be fresh after every single match they play in that. So we need to be challenging.
I think me and someone were talking off air while the watch along was going, and he said that it looks like we need two marquee players that the players will respect, opposition respects, and we can look at in a game to lean on. At the moment, we're leaning on too many players that either they're too young to lean on,
or too new.
Yeah, or too new. We don't know enough if they're even reliable enough.
If they're going to be reliable in the long run, but they're looking good, so we're going to be positive. We need clear direction within the team. So, like one of them just mentioned, Xhaka. We missed Xhaka. Did we miss Xhaka? Possibly we did today.
I actually said that in my interview. Robbie asked me, and my initial thing was like, yeah, I guess so, because I was going to mention Lokonga's performance as well, and ask you what your thoughts of the Lokonga-Partey partnership. This is the first time they started a Premier League game for us. What did you make of it?
It was okay.
At best.
At best, yeah. The
second half it picked up a bit, but first half Brighton's midfield dominated.
But I think Odegaard was very poor today, and I think that he was playing quite deep at times. So what was that all about? I weren't impressed with any of that midfield. There was gaps all over the place.
Yeah.
The first half, Tierney was Tierney wasn't good at all today. He was out of position the first 20 minutes, half an hour, every time. Yeah. Overhitting balls, no communication. No, like, why was he so forward anyway?
Yeah,
I don't really understand what the tactics were today.
Modern day coaches seem to like, maybe over meddling at times with positions. And when it works, it looks great, it looks genius, like Pep and like Klopp at times and other managers. But when it doesn't, you ask questions like why? Why is that happening?
They were
why
just
are we
all
doing
very
that?
far away. Like there was no clear. I don't know. Could you see something? Because I couldn't see it.
No, that's what. Again, you guys are going to see Man TV pop up soon anyway. Look out for the fan cams post game at the stadium, and the fan cams here. Me, Lee, judges, Helen will jump on soon enough as well. I mentioned that. I mean, I still don't know what Arteta's trying to do.
Yeah.
The defense has done well in the last 4 games. They've been consistent, and it's nice to have a 5 that pretty much 99% of Arsenal fans will pick before the game.
Definitely, yeah.
First time in years. First time in a long time. I think years doesn't even do it justice. But what are we doing? What is our style? And again, I said this in my interview, there's moments that you see where Emile Smith-Rowe will break away 2-on-1, or you'll get Oba breaking away maybe 1-on-1, 2-on-1, and it'll be after a good little passage of play. And some fans look at those passages and say, that's what Arteta's trying to do.
Yeah.
But I don't see what they're talking about, because those passages tend to happen due to the quality of the player getting out of a sticky situation, maybe drawing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a style of play. I think that's a moment that should come out a style of play. But right now, those moments are coming out of bits of quality from players rather than a style of play.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand what's going on out there. The transition was poor today. We had Thomas Partey and Lokonga against a Basuma-less Brighton.
Yeah. It just wasn't very good, but I feel like maybe we've got to give them the benefit of the doubt today.
Yeah.
Poor performance. We picked up a point. In other matches, we've got battered when we've had a poor performance. So we've just got to hope that this is just a one-off due to the weather, mitigating circumstances, whatever you want to put it down to, and just bounce in the next game, because we did keep a clean sheet. That is the positive.
Like I said, Palace and Villa are very winnable games at the Emirates. If we can go get the job done there, we look at this game potentially as a point earned. It depends how Brighton continue moving on, but at the moment, what are they? Joint second or third? Liverpool with a game to play, but there's a few teams on 14 points. Brighton's one of them, United.
You're relying on people to drop points anyway, so you need to be picking up your own points.
Yeah.
So for me, today is 2 points dropped.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
We're at. We have to rely on other teams to drop points, and we have to capitalise. Today, we didn't.
I looked at it before the game, relying on points to be dropped by others, even in games that are going to be played tomorrow, to be happy at picking up 3 points.
Yeah.
That's how I was
West
looking
Ham,
at
Brentford,
it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at.
Yeah.
And Aston Villa, I'm looking at other matches,
Yeah.
but that's where we are, and that's fine. But when we drop the points and we haven't picked up 3 points, I don't like looking at it like that.
Yeah, because we have to do our job before we look at others, innit? And looking at others tends to bring some hope.
Yeah.
And that hope tends to fall flat on its face more often than not.
Deliver.
Yeah, because it's never really in our hands, and when it is in our hands, we let ourselves down.
Yeah.
But it's a fresh team, and I hope that this draw is just one draw in amongst a little run that we have.
Yeah.
That.
But I'll turn the little positive hat again. It's a point against stronger opposition.
Yeah.
And that's positive, because we dropped a lot of points already this season. So the fact that we got one is positive.
Yeah, and we got James here saying, Turkish, realistically, we've only had one good performance in the league this season, and that game is a given against Spurs. Yeah. We need to turn up to every game. Do you think it's a case of turning up, or
are we just not good enough yet?
It's hard to see. Last season, I was being very fair on Arteta, even though I thought he was not good enough, and I said that I wasn't jumping on, this outs agenda, because I'm tired of outs. It's out there, out everywhere, but it's not out Kroenke, and that's the main out I want to be hearing. Otherwise, it's secondary news to me. But this season, with the fresh team, with some of the games we've had, Burnley, Norwich, even Brentford at the start, and Brighton today, I haven't seen enough from Arteta. And now you look at him, 2 years, coming up to 2 years in, 200 mil plus spent, eight new contracts given out. Surely we need to start. Surely we should have started seeing something.
I think against Tottenham we did, but we need to see it consistently, My criticism, where I've said it on many shows since the Tottenham game, possibly in the fan cam, he just plays it a bit too safe. When the opposition makes changes, he's not reactive enough. Yeah. And if you're not on top, like 2 examples, against Tottenham, we were clearly on top of the game. Yeah, they made 3 changes. He made none. Yeah, we lost that second half. Yes, we won the game. We should never have even lost the second half. We were 3-0 up, and then we lost 1-0 in the second half. By him not executing, making decisions, being assertive. Today, again, we're not on top in the game. And did he make the right substitutions? You know, because I don't think he did. I would have bought on Martinelli.
Oh, definitely. Especially that last sub where Maitland-Niles came on. Nothing against Maitland-Niles, but when you want to go and a bit of drive and a bit of direction, I guess in the attack.
He's not that player that's going to give you that, is he?
Whereas Martinelli would come on, and there was a moment where Saka was chasing someone back, and you could tell Saka was tired now. You know, he's exhausted. Just get him off and put Martinelli on. Martinelli's hungry either end of the pitch.
Exactly.
But listen, at the end of the day, I guess the manager's job is the most difficult, especially with us fans and the way we're demanding.
Yeah. We want the best for our club, so we're going to overanalyze everything. But it's not a criticism. I'm just wondering, would that have had a better effect? Yeah. Could we have stole a goal and took 3 points is what I'm thinking, you know?
Yeah, definitely, because the first half was a big problem for us. A big problem. I didn't see nothing from that first half that I can say, we're going to win this game. And you got to sometimes change things up a bit earlier to do that. And yes, Oba did maybe not start the second half well, but in the second half, in the first 15, 20 minutes, he had openings. Yeah. He just failed to capitalise on it. Before we get the next clips out, who was your man of the match?
Good question. Gabriel, possibly, I'd say.
Gabriel. I tend to agree. It has to be a defender.
I think he was the best for me out of the back 4.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
Because even Ramsdale, even though he was good, he wasn't as good as I want him to be today.
Yeah, well,
if you know what I mean, like by his standards that he has set, not.
Yeah, I think Brighton done well against playing at the back, against the maybe Brighton openings we've shown in the last few games. I think Brighton, they're the best team we played in the last few games. Disregard Tottenham considering where they are right now, the moment they are. Yeah. But like I said, people, we've got some more clips to get through, so we're going to head over to them clips, see what the people are saying.
Big up AFTV, Sam from New York here again. Not the best match I've ever watched my entire life, but I think a lot of our fan base will overreact. I think a lot of people will be calling for the head of Arteta. I think a lot of players, struggled in that weather and struggled against an informed Brighton team. I don't think our tactics were completely sound, but at the same time, I'm not entirely upset by nicking a point away at Brighton in that weather. I think it's important to at least get points from these kind of games. Continue development, and we move. Thanks.
That was terrible, wasn't it? I think first the team choice questionable. I believe Lacazette should have started. He's got much better hold-up play than Oba, and it was a game where you needed that. I thought that it would have been nice to see the pressing that we saw against Tottenham, but there was none of that. We gave them way too much space. They were just cutting through us. Morpay was trying to score worldies, but Emil Smith role, you should have squared it, man. Should have squared it. I think that would have won us the game. 1 point, better than none. We'll go again next week.
OG, DBNNK, goodness, if you see me at you, you better reply. Right, Arteta, first and foremost, let me remind you, this is the best team we've played since you said it's been the best 10 to 15 games of your career. Since we came back from that international break, okay? Right. 1, why is Tomiyasu shocking all of a sudden? Right? I'm going to tell you why. Because you're overcoaching. Right? Now, granted, the wind was doing bits with that high ball, but you are overcoaching. Why do I say you're overcoaching? Xhaka comes in, goes out, Sambi comes in to replace. All of a sudden, Sambi's going down to cover at left back for Kieran Tierney. Why does our left back need cover? Why is he bumming forward so much all the time? We've seen how prolific our forwards can be. Why do they need our left back to come and help them? right? Why can't he stay in his position and Sambi stays in his position, right? All of a sudden, Sambi's at left back and Partey is left exposed. Don't tell me we missed Xhaka. Partey is being left exposed. Odegaard doesn't know what to do with himself all of a sudden because Brighton are outnumbering us in that midfield, right? That should have been a 4-3-3 tactic all from the start, right? We should have had an extra midfielder in there. But now all of a sudden you're taking a midfielder, one of our central midfielders, and putting him at left back to cover for a left back. What's wrong with our forwards? Can't they do their job? Right? Why can't Martinelli get a go? I don't get that. Come on, Arsenal, you talking we can make top 4? With who? Arteta? This is totally overcoaching. We can't get anywhere with this. Rookie.
Welcome, Shaw.
Thank you.
Some
Thanks for having me.
interesting comments there from a few different Arsenal fans across the world. What do you make of them?
Mate, I get what that guy's saying on the last clip, you know.
If he's at you, you better reply. You better start checking your ats and that. Like he said, he was very serious about that.
He was. I mean, there were moments where Brighton were just running straight through our midfield. And, Tierney was sort of struggling a little bit, which is why Sambi was back there covering. So that is a bit questionable.
The chat's kind of split on it. I see some people on regarding the last guy saying he's clueless, and then I see some saying facts. If you want my opinion on it, I think there was more sense said there than nonsense, I guess. I think he's right in the overcoaching thing. I think Sambi's not the same midfielder as Xhaka, hence why it looks like we miss Xhaka today, because asking Sambi to do what Xhaka does, that's not him.
Exactly. Sambi's more of a player that sort of gets forward as well, as opposed to
a left back.
Yeah.
And he's actually right in a case where that's when our midfield gets overrun because it lacks a man and he's up there, Sambi's covering, and he makes good points. He makes good points there.
And then it's just Partey left. But with that whole overcoaching situation, we sort of saw that from early on, didn't we? That's something that we've been complaining about for quite some time.
Yeah, because he also mentioned Tomiyasu today, and you know. That wasn't his best game.
It wasn't
his best game, but at the end of the day, we kept the clean sheet. So that's the best thing we can take from today.
And Cucurella was causing Tomiyasu a lot of problems. He was a bit of a headache as well.
A lot of problems.
So he even got man of the match.
I don't know where he came out from. I didn't expect it, but he came out and done his thing. I can't lie, especially that first half.
Yeah.
And moments in that second half, he was definitely on it. But Tomiyasu, obviously, you learn off these. He's still young, Tomiyasu.
And he's just come over to the Premier League as well. He's still got adapting to do.
But sometimes I look at him and he looks older than his age.
He does. How old is he? He's only 23, 22. There you go. He does look a lot more older.
Yeah, let's see what the chat is saying. Brad said overcoach, swapping positions and gets injured all the time. I don't know what player you're talking about in particular there, but the swapping positions thing, yeah.
Yeah, perhaps is that Saka? There was a bit of a concern about Saka. He just looked tired.
Yeah, definitely at the end.
And he's on international break as well next week.
Yeah, Gareth's talking about protecting Bellingham and protecting Greenwood. Like, I know we ain't got Europe, but come on, the guy's played a lot of football. We had Europe last season. Games. We went to the semi-final, then he went to the Euros. He played probably more than he was meant to play. And then he started the season with Arsenal, he's guaranteed England player for the next 10 years. So you can be light on him right now. The World Cup's not until next year. I hope he goes but doesn't play.
Yeah, because I mean, if he didn't get that call up, would we also be complaining like, well, why hasn't Saka been called?
Maybe, because you see some people complaining about Emma Smith-Rowe not being called.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I'll take it. International breaks haven't been kind to Arsenal players over the years, so the less players we have on duty, the better, in my opinion, in terms of injuries, fitness, keeping the team together with Arteta throughout the international break. I think that's all key things, but a lot of them do go out and do their thing for their international clubs. Palace and Villa next, obviously 2 weeks in between that, Shah. It's winnable games though.
They are winnable games, you know.
And if we win them, this draw probably looks like a good point amongst a good run.
Yeah, but I mean, they are winnable games, but they ain't going to be easy games.
Yeah,
you know,
Vieira's return.
Exactly.
He's going to be up for it. Look how he was up for it against Tottenham. He mentioned them before the game about, Harry Kane, Henry's a different level, and he mentioned them after about I'm always used to beating Tottenham. So he's still got that, that thing in him, that fire in him. Let me say. So
which
I think
will always be there.
Coming against Arsenal, I think he'd probably look at it maybe himself and say maybe he should have been given an opportunity as manager ahead of Arteta. Maybe he's got a point to prove.
I was just about to say that. Is he going to want to come and prove a point here?
Yeah. Well, they did get a draw they got a draw out of Brighton on Monday too. But in that game,
last minute,
Palace deserved to actually win it.
They did. They did. Mope was lucky to get that last minute goal.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously we've got the international break now, so that obviously works in our favour. And yeah, hopefully we could just come back and put up the fight.
We've got a few comments about Martinelli. One here says, I feel that Martinelli is going to move on from Arsenal due to lack of game time. What are you thinking?
He hasn't got any minutes.
Yeah,
no
when Maitland-Niles
minutes.
came on, I thought...
We needed more of an attack as opposed to, bringing on Maitland-Niles. That didn't really make much sense. We was all calling out for Martinelli to come on. And I don't understand why. It was the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and Sammy on the flip side says, Martinelli played against Brentford. What did he do? I honestly don't remember when he performed well. You're right. In the Brentford game, he started and he didn't perform. I think it was a last-minute call-up because of Oba and Laka's COVID issues and whatnot. But I also think it's unfair to judge him when he hasn't had consistent game time, a consistent team. If everyone's trying to be fair on, let's say, an Arteta and say, this is his team now, it's been his team for 4 games, it's time to judge him. We can't even begin to be fair with a Martinelli who hasn't had 4 games in a row under Mikel or at Arsenal Football Club. He hasn't started 4 games in a row for us.
Yeah, and to be fair as well, I mean, who did play well in that Brentford game? It was the first game of the season. It was a complete nightmare for us. So I don't really feel like you can make that judgment against Martinelli based solely on that game.
Yeah, and he's still young, 20 years old. He turns 21 in June next year. He's still very young.
Exactly, and he's like that young, energetic player. And I think it would have been great to bring him on.
But I also,
just
again,
freshen it up.
I agree that there could be a worry there because at this age, a lot of players are playing across Europe. At Arsenal Football Club, we have 20-year-olds playing. So he might be looking at it like, well, is my chance going to come here? Or am I going to have to,
move on elsewhere?
Yeah, because I guess starting a three behind the striker of Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Odegaard and Saka is very young.
It is.
It's very young. Then again,
on the flip
Odegaard,
side, we've been relying...
Smith Rowe and Saka is very young. So I'm just talking nonsense there.
And we have been relying on our young players anyway, so does it even make a difference?
Yeah, Eric here with a super chat says, Arteta's at fault for making Sambi play like Xhaka on the left side. Sambi thrives when he's agile. He should play to players' strengths and not force into his plan A always. Poor management today. And yeah, I agree.
But then if you look on the flip side, Xhaka's out for 3 months. Is Arteta trying to sort of adapt Sambi to Xhaka's sort of role? This
is what's interesting to me now. Okay, so this summer we signed Lokonga. We already have Thomas Partey and we gave Xhaka a 1-year extension. Now, everyone puts these signings this summer down to Arteta and Edu, but we liken Lokonga to Partey more so than Xhaka. So I'm kind of with Eric and his super chat because surely you have a plan to play with Xhaka. I mean, Xhaka and Partey and Lokonga. They have to be different plans. Because Lokonga's not going to do what Xhaka does. And if you ask him to do that, it's going to be a fish out of water, especially in the early days of trying it out. So, what was the plan?
Was that a good time to perhaps try it and
not against Brighton away?
Perhaps it don't work.
Maybe at home against Palace or maybe Villa, due to their start to the season not being the greatest. Maybe then you try it out at home where the crowd can get behind you, have a 12th man. But away to Brighton, I think it was, in all honesty, if that's all you know and that's what you want to do, then El Nene would have been the better option.
Yeah, because he's more of a...
Because he's more of a worker in that sense, where you ask him to do a job, more often than not, he'll do it. Yes, there's a mistake or two in him, but at the end of the day, he's more that type of midfielder. You ask of him, he'll do. Do we have more clips ready by any chance? Yeah. We do. We're going to head over to some more clips now, people. Let's see what you guys are saying.
Hi, AFTV. I'm Emmanuel from China. My thoughts on the game tonight, our ball recovery was slow. We started the game slow. There was no pace in the first half. Yeah, we actually need consistency. That's what we are lacking when we win game tomorrow. The following game, we lost or we draw. Yeah, I'm serious they got there tonight. Yeah, to watch the game, it's not easy. You got to stay up very late, 2, 3 in the morning. And then you go to watch Arsenal game, and then you are beaten or you draw. That's it. We keep being there to support our team because it's part of us. It's part of football, rather. Yeah. Thank you guys there in the studio for all the good job every time I watch this AFTV. Yeah, sure. Peace to you guys.
AFTV, thank you for this opportunity. And about the match against Brighton, it was a pretty decent match. Ramsdale had pretty much not much to do except maybe towards the end. And I think the manager should have put out Aubameyang a lot earlier. His first touch was bad. It was bad. We need someone with a good first touch in that final third, and Aubameyang was not doing it. You can see when Lacazette came in, the Smith Rowe, Saka, they came to life because he was leaking up play. Well, anyway, we'll take it. By this beginning of this season, we were like 3 matches, no points. But in the last 4 matches, we got 10 points. So that's good. Thank you, AFTV.
No worries, my guy. Love for sending in your reaction and all that. I don't know about decent match, but I guess when he says it, Ramsdale didn't have much to do. Actually, big up LV. What are you saying, my guy?
I'm there, man. Come on.
I forgot that change up during the video.
I have to switch up quickly, you know?
Yeah, come on. Glitch in, glitch out.
Glitch in, glitch out.
Come on, my guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said decent match. But if you look at the Ramsdale, and he didn't have much to do, and the defence coped well with pretty much what Brighton had to offer. If you look at that, it was decent. It was probably good.
Yeah.
If you look at the attack and the transition, that's when it's a bit...
Yeah, it's a bit of a myth.
Yeah, it's far from decent.
So...
Who was your man of the match?
Smith Rowe.
Oh, you gave it to Smith Rowe, yeah?
Even though we could have squared the ball, we all saw it. Like, I see the golden moment, blood. I said, now, just square it. Let's get the one. You get me? We would have been laughing it off. Right now, we'd been sitting there like, boys, you know what? We nicked it anyway.
It was one of those, the set could have gone up in the air again.
Like, bro, it was that type of game towards the end, but they could have won it as well. Still, I can't lie. But the conditions, blood, the weather.
Yeah.
That messed up the whole game for me. Like, I'm watching the game
Both
and I'm
teams.
just like, both teams.
Yeah.
So it was just one of them games where a 0-0 was the score, innit? Like, come on, what do you expect? It's just a wet game. We're down in Brighton with the Seagulls and that.
It's mad.
Like, we know what one.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. I can't lie to you. When that first half, I looked at that first half, LV, and I said to myself, bro, that's the Burnley-Norwich Arsenal.
Yeah.
See, when we was watching them games and it was just like 1-0 wins. We nicked it.
There.
Like you just said, we nicked those ones essentially.
Right.
But this one, I thought that first half against a better team, Arteta needs to get it right in the second half.
Yes. Because I sat there and I was saying to myself, blood, why is Lacazette not on the pitch yet? Yeah. Why is man hesitating to just put man on? Put man on. Hurry up, make the move.
Early.
Aubameyang don't want this.
That's when Lacazette came on. That's when Emil Smith-Rowe started getting more spacing behind.
That's when the opportunity came. You get me? Then Pepe's let me down again, man. Once again, why is he doing this to me?
A lot of comments about him, yeah.
Bro, like, I expect more from man like that. He's a baller. I believe in man, he's a baller. I know enough man sit there and go, nah, forget. Blood, Lee was ready to put his hand through the freaking settee. Man was ready to thump up the place.
He's had enough,
he was losing it.
He's coming to the end.
He's coming to the end. But I'm still sitting there like, nah, brother. I'm telling you, once he wakes up,
it's gonna come.
Once we turn that switch all the way around, then boop, and he's ready to go.
And he
we know what he's capable of doing. We've seen little glimpses, but we don't get enough.
That's the problem.
Do you get me? Martinelli, he didn't get a game.
Once again. Bare comments about that.
Me? I don't know why. Arteta, it's not that he don't believe him, man. Of course he believes in his team, but it's just certain man ain't ready. We're not seeing something. Obviously, we know he's got that energy. He wants it. I know that, but he needs more games in it. So I don't know. Would you put him on instead of Lacazette?
Probably not. Instead of Maitland-Niles though.
Yeah. He tried to go defensive. He wanted to shut the game in, keep it sweet. You ain't got Saka in. Like Saka's more or less injured now. Overplayed him like he did with Xhaka.
I hope not.
I hope not. He's not injured, but he was limping off like to say, boy, I've had enough.
Let's hope that limp rules him out of England and then he's back fresh for Palace.
England don't get him.
Nah, bro, they shouldn't be calling him up now, man. My man's tired, bro.
Yeah, he's tired.
You could tell he's tired,
He was
man.
tired. He had a good game. It was either him or Smith Rowe, man of the match for me.
Yeah, Smith Rowe had his moments.
Both of them, really.
Smith Rowe had his moments.
They both did well, as well. You know what I mean? First half, second half.
I tend to get to the defenders because of the clean sheet.
Yeah. That's a great defence we got there. We need to build off of that.
What are you saying? Big Sam would do great things with that defence, yeah?
Beautiful.
I said beautiful. Shut up shop, that's it.
You know
12
there.
clean sheets
and then
year.
we go find some players who can do the other stuff.
That's the problem, the other stuff. Oba, bro.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Oba, man, because I don't know anymore.
Bro, Where do we start?
Problem, isn't it?
Yeah, like 1 minute is on, next minute is off. Like, what do we do? Do we still believe in man?
We have to this season.
Man was on the front of the car.
Man was on the front of the car.
So I can't even say much. I was probably sitting there thinking, you was on my car.
Yeah, now
look
at you.
I'm sorry. I didn't even need to get on the windscreen like that.
Now you're here telling me it's not.
But no, I'm not saying you're dead, because you're not. You're definitely a top striker. But I just feel like we're not playing to your advantage, bro. Like, if that was me on the pitch and my man them know that I like the ball over the top or in between the defenders or last man. You play to man's advantage. We don't play like that. They'll play all over the place before they get the ball into him. Do you get me?
Yeah, he's not suiting what we're doing right now.
Suiting what man's doing, bro.
That's what it is,
Something's not correct there. I think Arteta, as the manager, should be sorting that out. Play 2 man up front then, bro. Let Lacazette sit in, hold the ball up and play him in, feed him. Because he'll find him.
Even I wouldn't do that. I'm tired of... I'm not tired of Oba, let me not disrespect now. But I'm tired of going into seasons with Oba and Laka. Because I was saying what you were saying 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and even probably last year.
And still it's not happening.
And it's like, bro, you're best of friends off the pitch. I get that. Smiles in the pictures, bants, all of that.
On the pitch,
but on the pitch,
it's not that.
You man ain't shown that York Cole thing for me to be saying.
Yeah, it should be like that Dwight York, Andy Cole type of thing.
Yeah, like read each other's minds. And
you should know each other.
I'm not seeing that to say we need to get these two in 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe Laka probably should have started today.
Yeah. For me, I was saying 60th minute. Take off my man now. Do you get me? Put Laka on now.
Waited a bit too long.
Waited way too long. When you put him on, then man got one little chance out of it, and then Smith didn't even pass the ball. He just tried to shoot.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. That desire he has. Sometimes he's got to think, you know what, I don't want the glory today. Just feed it.
You got. I know you're right, but you got to rate at the same time.
Yeah, of course. I don't want him. Another day, I want him to shoot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Why did you pass? Should have shot. Do you know what I mean? We're indecisive when it comes to them situations.
100%.
Today, the golden moment, just square the ball.
Because he'll look back at it and say himself, I should have squared it.
Because he was there for ages.
Yeah.
Shouting
it looked like
ages.
he wanted to, but
no, he took the second touch. He went boom bam, and then that there was the pass.
That is what it is. Here we are, 0-0. Joel says, Turkish, big man. Do you agree with Robbie, who yesterday thinks Arsenal top 4 finish after what we saw today? I didn't need to see today to disagree with Robbie on the top 4 finish. It's not in our remit this season.
You can't even put today's game in the mix. Today's game, the weather done mess. That game was that's void.
What do you think the best case scenario is for this team this season, league finish wise?
8th. And that's not me being rude, man. I just feel like we're not there yet. Do you know what I mean? If I'm being real. Unless Arteta buys some next player and
January
he just picks up the whole squad.
A Bruno Fernandes type in January.
Someone where man's like, the team's changed because this guy.
Yeah.
And we ain't got that person yet. Don't get me wrong, Tommy is coming to the game, but the weather yammed him up today, boy. That brother, what's the Cucurella? Cucurella. He's Spanish, yeah?
I don't know what he is, bro.
Okay, yeah, cool.
He was on stuff today, that's why I know.
Cucurella, Papella. Yeah, I get it.
He was on stuff today.
Yeah, he was on stuff. He was dealing with Tommy, but Tommy brought it back at the second half a little bit, but overall, he got man of the match, the Cucurella. So, yeah, man, he did well, still big him up. But as for Arsenal...
Partey had a poor game.
Partey, yeah, he was getting yam up because he's not got Shaq on the pitch. He's used to a man sitting with him, whereas Lokonga plays right on the pitch. He's a different baller. They're two different men. One man likes to run, make movements, come back. Xhaka would have sat back and just chilled with him so the gaps don't come out at that side. He needs a man to sit. So I get why now Xhaka and Partey play together.
Yeah, because if that's what all Arteta knows, then I get... I got to laugh as well. I just see my AFTV interviews up, and the title, Robbie said, "We miss Xhaka." I'm bound to get heat for that, because I'm on to Xhaka's back all the time.
They're going to be on your case on that.
But the reality is, if that's what Arteta knows and you want a midfielder to cover for Tierney, then of course Xhaka's going to be the one. He's the left-footed one. He's your go-to guy. Lokonga's not going to do that job.
Lokonga's going to go do his thing.
Exactly.
He's out there trying to set pace.
When I say we missed him in this system, yes. In this system, yes.
That formation.
Is he good enough? No. But in this system, we missed him, yes.
That formation, he means, yeah.
Just so people know.
They try to change up words on man. Everyone's going to watch that one now.
You'll have the Twitter police onto me, man. Tonight I wake up to bed tweets saying flip-flop Turkish. You don't know what he's talking about. It's all mad. Even like I said, Partey had a poor game today, but you're right. It probably is because Xhaka wasn't next to him and Lokonga was being asked to do what Xhaka
ain't that guy. You're not sitting. You don't want to relax. You want to go and kick ball in it. I get it.
El Nene probably would have done Xhaka's job better than
Yes,
Lokonga.
100%, because he sits. He knows how to.
He's a worker.
Yeah, work and get back, sit down, chill out, find a man, block him.
Lukaku wants to express himself a bit.
I think we need to find a player like after Xhaka though, because if he does end up not being with us for that long after, you know what I mean? Because everyone keeps saying man needs to duck.
Yeah, he's 28, but he's got 3 years left on his contract. People are saying we gave him the year to protect his value. If that's the case, then next summer we sell him with 2 years to go.
We still need to get another player who can play with Partey though.
That's my point with Lokonga. Arteta signed Lokonga. Edu signed Lokonga. But when Xhaka's missing, you put Lokonga to do Xhaka's job.
Yeah.
Is that what you bought Lokonga for? He's not that midfielder.
No, he's not. He's a whole different baller, man.
So when you put him in there, I expect you to see what you wanted to do with him, not what you've been doing with Xhaka.
Not trying to change him into that person. No way.
Because he's not that.
He's not that.
It's all
you need
mad.
to buy someone for that role.
Are them clips ready? No, not yet. We'll continue anyway. We're getting some more clips ready. It'll be the last round of clips before we do wrap up in about 15 minutes, people. Love for the love as always. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Still 2.5k watching. Ramsdale.
Oh, Ramsdale.
At the end.
Keeper.
That header back especially.
Hey, that save, what I said, the one hand thing.
Yeah.
He's the guy still.
3 clean sheets in 4.
He's the guy still. I'm telling you, he's the guy still. I'm not taking that away from Leno. I rate him as well. But obviously Ramsdale's in now. We've got to work with what we've got, what's new. And we need to, keep with that new. And he's fresh anyway, man. Ramsdale speaks. I've seen man run out and shout. He's just, there's a bit more communication going on. I don't know whether it's because my man's from a different place to my man.
Maybe still. But you're definitely right. That's improved, 100%.
Something's there. They're communicating something. You know what I mean?
He seems more confident than him as well.
Do you know what I'm saying? So let's just keep it moving with that. We move. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I want.
100%. I just had there was something here that I want, just a reminder that 2 of Emil Smith-Rowe's passes to Oba should have been goals.
See?
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Should have been goals. That one where he was offside, should have lobbed him. On a good day, he would have lobbed him. Maybe the pitch plays a part of it. I don't know, but the conditions, the money they're getting paid, man, that's the lob, man. I don't care. No. You're on big P's. Like, bruh, that's standard. It's not Sunday ball no more. You get me? Scored the goal. It's Prem, bro. Put that in the net. You get me?
100%.
Come on, bro.
100%.
And he flopped. So, yeah, man, but then on another day, he'll score that. So I don't know if it was the pitch once again. So
he looked clumsy at times.
Clumsy, blood. The ball's behind him. He touched it behind him. And man's trying to chase the ball from, he had a stake out.
It's not making sense. It's not making sense. But those clips are ready, people. So let's get into the last round of clips and let's see what you guys are saying.
Guys, this is Tapia from South Africa. Today's game was really boring. There wasn't much creativity happening. It was just one of those games where we just had to sit it out. But I think also the conditions really affected it. But we also have to think of Ramsdale. He really did well. He kept a clean sheet. That's the positive we can take from today. Next game we go. Come on, you Gunners.
That was a result. Let's get that right. Any other or them on another day, they could have beaten us 3-0. So I'll take that result, definitely. If I whiz through the team, Ramsdale started shaky for me, but ended up being one of our strongest players in the second half. He was fantastic second half, kept us in the game. Tierney off the pace today. I don't know what was, he just weren't on it for me today. Both centre halves, Gabriel fine. Ben White, there's something about Ben White that worries me. I think sometimes he's too laid back on the ball, and I think sometimes he gets himself in a lot of trouble. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I think at times he could cause himself a bit of a situation. Tomiyasu, look, he didn't have a great game today. We know that, but he's 4 or 5 games in. So listen, we give him the benefit of the doubt on that. And we go another day. Midfield, Sambi for me, he didn't really impose himself, but I thought he was always there. With the back 4 sweeping up and stuff like that. Not too bad. Partey frustrates the life out of me. I didn't think he played too bad today, but then all week on the socials, I see him at training banging in 30, 40-yard screamers. But you get him on a Saturday afternoon, and he can't hit a barn door. Odegaard, again, just didn't really go for him today. He's got it in his locker, so you give him the benefit of the doubt. Same with Saka. I thought similar game. Just not there for Saka. Glimpses of it, but again, I'm not too worried about him. And ESR, you know what I mean? What can you say? Top boy today. He's our man of the match without a doubt. Aubameyang, poor today. So he was off the pace. Touch was poor. Just didn't read the game very well. It weren't going right for him. And who come on? We had Lacazette come on, made a difference, nearly set up the goal for Emil Smith-Rowe. That was unlucky. So, Lacker's Lacker. Pepe, for me, though, just don't have enough of an impact when he comes on. He should be impacting games like that. That would have been perfect today, but he come on, didn't really do much for me, and he's just not direct enough at times for me, and he's got pace. He should be dropping the shoulder, cutting in, having a pop with his left foot, but he just don't do it. So that was frustrating, but listen, on the whole, we take that result. We go into the international break, come back ready, and we go from there.
Good points, my guy. Yeah, he made a lot of good points. Make sure you send your videos in every week, my guy.
Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that.
Well, where do we start? Tierney. Let's start with Tierney because we've talked about an underwhelming start to the season. He had a great game against Tottenham, but again today, poor. Yeah.
Very poor. Everything about him today was poor. The header from the back post, which he should have won. Ramsdale made a good save from. His distribution wasn't good. He didn't seem sharp enough for me, if I'll be honest. I didn't really listen, I'm a big Tierney fan. I think everybody is. He's just, his standards from last season have just dropped a little bit, so he's not. It's not a massive worry at this moment in time. But you would want him to play a little bit better than what he is at this moment in time.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Another one that I tend to look to and say we can rely upon him, Thomas Partey. He didn't have a great game either.
It's probably his worst game for a little while.
Yeah.
I love the comment, you know what I mean? That's why I don't watch those socials when they're banging in goals from 30 yards, because they don't matter. It's what he does on a Saturday, and he's right. There was one of them we ducked from, I think.
In the studio.
It was it was unbelievable. I don't know how many balls they lost at the game from him.
And that 35-yard free kick.
Oh, who's allowed him to do that? You know what I mean? He must be. I reckon he can handle himself in the dressing room.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm taking this. No one's gone, whoa, hold on a minute. And he's looked at him, he's given him the eyes, and they've said, you can have that free kick.
Yeah, and everyone else looks around and says, who's going to tell him? Nah?
You're gonna say no, you know what I mean? But for me, no, he didn't have one of his better games. But listen, he wasn't woeful.
Yeah.
It's just that the standards that he set, he didn't get to that was my biggest concern today. We put a benchmark up last week, work rate and everything like that. We didn't match it today, and I think partly because we didn't play as well, but also Tottenham played right into our hands last week, and so they got a bit like Potter's a different kettle of fish. You weren't gonna go down that route.
I guess it's the best team we've played in the best form, and probably the best manager in the past few games.
Without a doubt, I think that if you look at Burnley and Norwich, they've fought out a 0-0 draw today. You know what I mean? They're both teams are struggling for whatever reason. I'm pretty sure Sean Dyche will sort something out. But ultimately, nice times to play them Turkish. You know what I mean? Spurs were woeful. Let's be honest.
Dead.
They were absolutely woeful yesterday. I don't think they'll play as bad as that until. I don't think they can afford to. If I be honest.
Can't. We hope for it again.
Well, I love them to play like that again tomorrow. If they play like that again tomorrow, they get beat.
Villa will do them.
But Villa will do them because they're a good team. But we was, we played really well last week. I'm not going to take too much away because we was allowed all the space and all that. Today they was a lot more compact, Brighton, and we never looked like opening them up as much.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, we just talked about Tierney and Partey. There's been talk of Lokonga and him filling in. What I just discussed with LV, even Robbie later, my AFTV interview's gone up, by the way, and the title says we miss Xhaka, so you know how much stick I'm gonna get for that. But the reason I say we missed him today is because of Arteta's lack of a plan B. He played Xhaka and Lokonga, and he asked Lokonga to do what Xhaka does, not what Lokonga should be doing. And for me, that's where the downfall was in the middle. There was a clip earlier where Partey was getting overrun because Lokonga was covering for Tierney, who wasn't having a great game in the attacking side anyway, and Brighton were going through the middle.
Yeah, and I think you've got to trust your defenders. If your defenders, why are you putting extra players in there to defend you? You shield the defence with the two midfield players, and that's it there. What I will say about Granit Xhaka, and where I will stick up for you on what you've said, is that our best performance of the season come last week. Granit Xhaka was in the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he played a part in it, I'll give him that.
Yeah, and how much of a part, you don't know. That's the disappointment of him not being here today, because you wanted that same team to go out, and then you think like, let's see what it was like. My biggest disappointment today is that I was excited what I see last week. I thought, like, you know, we're going to go there and we're going to attack Brighton.
Yeah.
We're going to do this, and none of that come to fruition. It was just a little bit of you know, going back to how we were, not entertaining. You know, like match of the day would be like not even worth watching.
Can skip it tonight.
Yeah, skip it tonight, because it was a tough watch.
Yeah.
And you know, all that entertainment and all that last
buzz,
week buzz has now gone, because you're now thinking, oh well, we've played Norwich, we've played Burnley, and we've played
Tottenham and Brighton.
Take out that Brighton, we've scored 2 goals.
1 open play.
You know what I mean?
And that open play goal was the one where Oba fell over the line and Pepe fell into it.
And so, you know, we're not creating too many opportunities.
Nah, defensively, positive.
We can
3
go on
clean
to that.
sheets out of 4.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
attacking.
positive today. I think that, you know, many Arsenal fan would come on here and say that we could have lost that game a year ago or 2 years ago, but we dug in and to be honest, they had a lot of play, but I felt, I don't know about you, but I feel a little bit more confident with our back four and back five at this moment in time. I felt that we was always going to get the nil today.
Tomiyasu had some moments, but they covered for him well. It didn't really come to a big chance for Brighton.
No, like, he was fantastic, the fella on the left-hand side for them. He really
Cucurella.
But what I liked about his performance is that he got found out in the first half, but I thought second half he rectified that, and he didn't do as
much
many
better.
bad things.
A
little bit more solid. If he didn't want to play, and I'll tell you what, he thought to himself, I respect you. You can. You've got the ability to nail me, so I'm not going to let you do that. Like, and so I felt that was a quite mature second half performance from him. Like, you know what I mean? So he never carried on doing the same things and the same mistakes. Changed
till it cost
game.
us. Yeah.
So I felt that from that point of view, that was good.
Yeah, and we've got 2 weeks now, international break, and then 2 home games before Liverpool. Palace and Villa.
We've got Leicester before that. Leicester before Liverpool.
Oh, Leicester, yeah, we do. We do that. Leicester's the third game,
so
actually. So that's the next big one.
We've got two home games and then another tough away game, you know what I mean? And then before we play Liverpool. So, you know, I will look back on this as, you know, if we can beat Villa and Palace in those 2 games and then beat Leicester, I would turn around then and say, do you know what, this is a point game.
That's exactly what I said to Helen earlier. Because it's a draw amongst a good run.
Yeah, you say, and you've kept you not losing games, but ultimately it's no good dropping points against Villa or Crystal Palace and then Leicester. Now we've got to continue the run and get some winning games in there. The one thing that worries me, I don't know how you feel about it today, I just feel that he's again with Mikel Arteta, he's a little bit too cautious.
Yeah.
There was an opportunity today to go and win that game.
Well, Martinelli instead of Maitland-Niles.
Or even, you know, like I'd have put Laka should have come on a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Should have come on a lot earlier. And I would have put Martinelli on. Yeah, I would have done. I would have put him on for Pepe, just more direct. I don't think it was Pepe's sort of game today. Wind swirling, rain and everything like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to, those sort of games, you just need to get it in the channel, not pretty, and just get someone with pace running onto it instead of trying to build it up through that sort of play.
Yeah, and Odegaard leads the press well from the front. Odegaard had a poor game today, but I think in terms of leading the press from the front, the next best player we got is Martinelli. Yeah. Because Martinelli, when he plays in the attacking positions, he's at the heels of defenders, with or without the ball.
Well, yeah, and I just, you know, I look at it today, and, you know, we all said it today watching the game, and I'm pretty sure the fans were there and watching it on TV. There was 5 minutes to go when Saka went off. Now, Saka's an attacking player, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's a more creative player and all that. What was the decision from the manager? The decision was, I'll go with a defensive.
Shore things up.
Yeah, shore things up. Now, I'm not knocking that, but that tells me that he's a manager that doesn't want to lose games instead of trying to win games.
Yeah.
And we're used to, over the last sort of 10, 15 years, of trying to win games.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, and get Christian when we've turned around and go, oh, why didn't he put
why didn't he defend?
And take the point and whatever like. But it's in our DNA to go and attack. It didn't happen today, so that would be a little bit of a criticism for me. But listen, you know, he's shoring up the defence, as we said earlier on. You know, you have to look at the positive today, and that is the defensive performance.
Yeah, and 3 clean sheets out of 4.
3 clean sheets out of 4. So you have to, you know, can say to himself, like, that's good, like, you know what I mean? So, like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm being told.
We're going to have a quick substitution here, people.
And a very good one, by the way. So
93rd minute, late one.
This is a Mikel Arteta substitution.
It's a late one, isn't it? Last minute, drawing. Who's coming in? Let's see. He's back. He's back.
It's a great substitution. What's he on?
He's back. Last minute sub. Let's see if we can get the winner. What are you saying, Rob?
Oh, man. Do you know what? Today I was like, oh man, I wish I was at the game. All along I was like, oh man, I should have went. I shouldn't have given Cecil my ticket. I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah, listen, I felt like that a few times this season, Rob. I felt like the Brentford being one of them.
What a horrible game. Listen, you get games like that throughout the season. The conditions were terrible. You know, I spoke to Cecil earlier on. He said it was like absolutely chucking it down.
Yeah.
The wind was high. You saw at the start of the game, even the fans going into the stadium, nobody even came out into their seats until the actual play started.
Buzz,
That's how bad it was. And I could tell how bad it was, right? So it was always going to affect how the game went. It wasn't a great performance by Arsenal, but it's a point. And whilst I'm disappointed that it's only a point, because I would have liked to have seen Arsenal get 3 points and just keep that winning streak going.
Yeah.
But I don't know, will I look back on it maybe in a few games' time and think to myself, well, it was a decent point away to Brighton, and it hasn't killed the momentum, because what would have killed the momentum would be a defeat.
100%.
So it's one of them where you just got to look at it and say, yeah, you know what I mean, disappointing, but we didn't lose. We got a point at Brighton away.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if you look at Palace and Villa next before, you know, a big game in Leicester, you see a potential 6 points, and then if you take those 6 points, you look at the last run of 6 games and you've won 5 and drawn 1. And Brighton are in good form, so that draw looks a bit better than it is. Listen, there's international break now, and a loss would have killed the buzz from Tottenham.
Would have absolutely killed it. I mean, I not to say that I weren't disappointed with the performance.
Yeah.
You know, we were doing fan cams earlier. You did one. I think you made some great points where you were talking about pattern of play, and I still want to see more of a pattern of play from Arsenal. You know what I mean? I'm still... The midfield today was kind of vacated by us, because we're doing this thing where...
Cover left back.
Yeah, the midfield drops in to cover the defenders, and I kind of get it because it's a clean sheet. So on the one hand, it's hard to criticise it because 3 clean sheets in the last 4.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you're like, there comes a stage where you've got to be a bit braver.
Different.
You've got to be a bit braver, Mikel, and say, right, you know what? No, we've got 2. Thomas Partey's a talented midfielder. We've got Sambi Lokonga in there, great young midfielder. Let's try and get on the ball in midfield, and we didn't today. Yeah, and midfield was non-existent. You know, Partey had a poor game.
Yeah.
Sambi Lokonga seemed to be playing more as a defender, right? And Odegaard was shocking as well.
Yeah.
You know, after I don't want to criticise him too hard because he was brilliant last week and brilliant the last few games, but
nowhere to be seen today, really.
Just don't want to see. It's a bit like even when we played Burnley. Not enough. I think we need to create more.
With Rob, 100%. If you Burnley, Norwich, and now Brighton, we scored 1 goal from open play, and it was that Obar rolling it over the line when Pepe fell over. Yeah. The other was the Odegaard free kick. Tottenham in isolation looks great, but it looks like that performance was so great because Tottenham was so bad.
And we're at home, so at home, I think you always play a bit different at home because you know the emphasis is on you, like the emphasis was on Brighton today.
Yeah.
But I just felt that past couple performances, I'm just like, I want to see a bit more creation. I want to see a bit more fluidity in our play, and I'm not seeing that enough. We're starting off games and it looks a bit fluid, and then as soon as teams come onto us a bit, it's kind of almost like, get back, defend.
Scrambling.
And I want to see. I'm just hoping that this is sort of like an early season sort of. We lost the first 3 games. Let's kind of get a grip. Get things back under control. Then we can start going for it a bit more. Cause I want to see more flow to our play, man.
No, I agree. Against Burnley, I just thought of this. Now against Burnley, we played Odegaard next to Partey. But we didn't ask Odegaard to do Xhaka's job. Today, we played Lokonga next to Partey and we asked Lokonga to do Xhaka's job. And that's why in my interview upstairs, I said, you know, if we're going to do that, of course you're going to miss Xhaka because that's Xhaka's job. That's what he's drilled to do. Cover Tierney on the left and be that, you know, support. With Lokonga, you've got a more expressive midfielder there. You can't ask him to do the same job.
Yeah, I just, you know, when did you really see a midfielder in the game pick up the ball and drive through?
Smith Rowe a couple times.
Yeah,
but
yeah. And he's playing as a wide player, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see, a bit more in that aspect, and I'm not seeing that. And that's a little bit disappointing. But we haven't lost the game, right? So when we go into that international break, we'll be like, well, you know, last few games, you know, 1 drawn, 3 wins, 9 points. We're on the way. We're moving up. We're moving ahead. And if you know, the flip side of that is we go all out to get the goal, concede because Brighton were a good side. They played well without creating a lot of clear-cut chances. I think that's one thing we have to remember. I felt the defending.
Yeah, we nullified.
You know, I thought Gabriel brilliant today.
Yeah,
best player on that pitch.
Yeah, I agree.
Best Arsenal player on that pitch.
I agree.
You know, I thought Tomiyasu in the second half
improved
because what he did, which I liked about him today, is that in the first half he was getting rock up.
He was getting caught out a few times.
Yeah, he was getting, and I felt one of the reasons why is because he was trying to do too much on the ball.
Yeah.
And what he did in the second half, he just simplified his game. He's just like, you know what, this ain't the conditions for it and stuff like that. I was gonna pass it off. If I need to put that ball out, I'll put it out.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to overdo my chances because the conditions are not right for it. So I like the fact that he was thinking.
Yeah.
And he changed his game up. Tierney wasn't his greatest performance.
No, nor was Partey.
But Partey was poor, I thought.
Yeah, poor.
Odegaard, poor. The midfield was non-existent.
Yeah.
And all of their joy came from the midfield. But it's a clean sheet. Ben White played well as well.
Yeah. Today it's like the experienced ones in a sense that let us down because we look at Alba captain, he didn't have but if you ask me who I'd want to be captain, it's Partey or Tierney. Both were poor. So it's like all the experienced leader type players we have, even Odegaard.
I think Aubameyang again, no service again. I want to see him getting more service up because when he did get the ball up to him, they were dangerous moments for Brighton, even though he had that one where he was offside. He missed it anyway.
The other he fumbled, but
when the ball was coming up to him, they looked like dangerous moments. But we ain't getting the ball to him enough.
No, that's
what I'm saying. I want to see
style.
I want to see more in the midfield, and then also I feel Mikel Arteta. I would have bought on Martinelli today. I think those conditions is a Martinelli type game. I wouldn't have bought on Pepe. I think I might have bought on a Martinelli, or maybe Martinelli and Pepe. But I would have bought a Martinelli on. Because Martinelli is that sort of guy. He's going to run down, man. He's going to close down.
They don't want that sort of player coming on.
You don't want that type of man in these conditions late on in a game. You don't want that. That energy. That
Yeah.
You didn't play him. He's an underused player. Martinelli's underused. Bring him on. Get him. When he brought on Ainsley, I'm just like, he's just settled for a draw.
It shows what he was thinking.
I would have bought on Martinelli. And just said, if you see that last 10 minutes, run that man, get that ball.
Yeah, make Brighton change their minds.
Terrorise up some players, but he didn't. So that's what I'm saying with Mikel, where I was looking at it sometimes a little bit cautious, man. I get it kind of because of the start we've had, but we need to start winning games more.
Yeah. You need to listen. Like we said at the beginning when you jumped in, we beat Palace and Villa. This looks like a good point, but we go into Palace and Villa. Listen, Palace with Vieira, 100%. He's going to want to do one over Arteta and show us maybe why we should have gone for him. We've got a super chat here saying, we Gooners are so fickle. One win versus a sorry Spurs and Arteta is a genius. What is the team's identity? The project is a mirage.
Listen, you can't just look on it and say, we made Spurs look very poor. Remember, they won their first 3 games. Yes, they have had back-to-back defeats leading into our game, but we made them. That was a brave, on the front foot, took it to them and destroyed them performance, right? But today was back in our show.
Yep.
And, fair play to Brighton, they played well. They, as I said, they didn't create a lot of clear-cut chances. But they were the team on the front foot. They were the home team, they were on the front foot. And we have to take the point in the end because if it was going to go anyway, as far as the victory was concerned, it would have went their way.
Yeah, with the Tottenham one, I'm scared. I'm hesitant. Let me not say scared. Hesitant to say it was us yet. I want to see Palace and Villa at Emirates first.
Yeah.
I want to see us put in a good performance.
I still think it's a brave performance by Arsenal against Tottenham. I know they ain't been the greatest team, but they had all the big guns out. They had a front three of Son, Harry Kane, and Lucas Moura. That's dangerous for any team, right?
Yeah.
Even though, so, and we took it to them. We went and we took it to them. So, for me, I look on that and say it was a good performance. You can't just always look on performances and say, it was only because we did our thing. But today, I wanted to see us a bit braver.
Yeah, I get you. It's quelled that fire a little bit, but at the same time, it hasn't extinguished it. It's still there. 10 points in 4. We moved to Palace and Villa. You get another 6. You got 16 and 6. It looks a lot better. YM here says Partey sending all those ballistic missiles into the heavens is surely doing us no favours with the big man upstairs.
He cannot shoot, man. When I saw him lined up over that free kick, I was like, no. It was miles out as well.
Yeah, 35 yards or something like that.
And, he was competing with today at times with Bruno Fernandes's penalty.
Oh yeah, they're still in there. They're still in there. He pulled out his boss card for that free kick. He was like, hey, listen, I'm 28 years of age, 29. I played for Atletico. I'm taking this free kick.
Don't let him take no more.
These kids can't be talking to me like this. What are you saying though, Rob? Any last minute thoughts on?
No, last minute thoughts is we take the point. We take the point. It's not a defeat. It's not ideal. It wasn't an exciting game. There's nothing to really get excited about. It's going to be last on Match of the Day tonight, but it's not an L.
Yeah.
And, so I think Arsenal fans are going to say, right, let's just dust ourselves down, go into the international break, and let's come back, for that game against Palace. We're at home in the next couple of games. Let's get back on that winning, train. I'm still in a positive mood because we haven't lost the game today. And let's be real, going into that game, Brighton have been playing well this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was always going to be a tough game. It's another clean sheet. That's the positive for me.
Yeah, and I'll take that as well. 3 clean sheets out of the last 4, 10 points going into international break. I just hope we come back from it fit, firing, healthy, and we pick up where we left off against Tottenham into Palace. It's a big one against Vieira. People, we will be back doing Match Day Live after the international break, but for the next couple of weeks, look out for the great content coming out on this channel. Few good shows coming out inside AFTV. Look out for that one in particular. Big episodes coming soon. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't already. Get it up to 1,000 before the show ends, which is now, people. So make sure you hit the like button. Love for the love as always, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.